Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Today is Wednesday, December 10th, 2025, coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. 5 men get indicted in the alleged hazing death of Southern University student Caleb Wilson. Also, Southern University clears Alpha Phi Alpha of hazing allegations. Democrats keep flipping seats. Republicans thought they were safe with Donald Trump's approval rating sinking every day and Democratic turnout surging. More than 1 in 5 GOP-held seats on the ballot this year have turned blue. Speaking of Trump's attacks, his attacks on black people go far beyond the rhetoric, and Ohio Congresswoman Shontel Brown is calling it out. Speaking of that, last night Trump gave a speech and his racism was on display, trashing Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and literally saying how he did so well with black people. Did he tell black people this? And did we know this? Also, tonight's Tech Talk segment, a recent college grad who built an app that helps locate survivors and assess damage in the first 72 hours of natural disaster. Plus, we'll be joined by Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who announced on Monday she is running for the United States Senate in Texas. And man, a whole lot of people ain't happy about that. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's the go, y'all. It's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now.
A Louisiana grand jury has indicted 5 people in connection with the alleged hazing death of Southern University student Caleb Wilson. In March, the 20-year-old Caleb died during an off-campus event for the Omega Psi Phi fraternity after sustaining a blow to the chest as part of a hazing ritual. Caleb McCrae is facing the most serious charge of manslaughter, as well as being a principal in felony hazing. Kyle Thurman was indicted for being a principal in felony hazing and faces 3 counts of obstruction of justice. Isaiah Smith was indicted for principal to manslaughter, principal to felony hazing, and obstruction of justice. 2 new suspects, Winston Sanders and Jayton Landrum, were also indicted. The grand jury charged Sanders with being a principal in a felony hazing, while Landrum was indicted for principal in felony hazing and 2 counts of obstruction of justice. The men also faced misdemeanor hazing charges related to the other individuals who were being hazed that night while seeking membership in Omega Psi Phi. However, the grand jury did not decide on the 6th suspect, 21-year-old Jalen Grissom, though they may do so later if more evidence comes to light. As a result of these events, the Omega Psi Phi chapter at Southern has been expelled from the university. Additionally, McCrae, Thurman, and Smith have been stripped of their membership in the organization. We also told you the story when Southern suspended the chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha over hazing allegations. Well, Southern announced that as a result of their investigation, as well as the fraternity organization, that they have been actually cleared. They've been cleared of those charges. Give me one second here. The Board of Regents actually received a report regarding that, but again, it related to, according to the Board of Regents report, contestants in the Miss Black and Gold pageant were told to meet off campus without knowledge or prior approval of the chapter advisor while wearing all black clothing. They were taken to a location in 2 cars where participants were made to perform jumping jacks and other physical exercises. But again, according to they have been actually cleared of all charges. I want to bring in my panel, Rebecca Carruthers, President and CEO, Fair Election Center, Washington, D.C., Joe Richardson, Civil Rights Attorney out of L.A., Kelly Bethea, Communications Strategist out of D.C. I'll start with you, Joe. Here's what's stupid to me. I despise hazing. From the moment I crossed Alpha, April 27, 1989. I never understood it. I think it's stupid. And you've got to be stuck on stupid. And you've got to be a damn fool where you would haze somebody. So you're going to put that individual in jeopardy. Your life could be in jeopardy. You're putting your chapter in jeopardy. You're putting your membership in the organization in jeopardy. And you're putting the membership in jeopardy as well. So what the hell do you get out of it? It's just stupid to me.
Out of, the last X number of years, I actually speak on this on college campuses quite a bit. And we start off with some of the figures. And it's estimated about 55% of people in fraternities, sororities, sports teams, and other groups on college campuses have experienced hazing. There's been at least 1 death per year since 1959. There were 40 deaths between 2007 and 2017. And basically, to your point, it accomplishes nothing. And let's be real. You don't keep secrets like that anymore between cell phones and helicopter parenting. You are not going to keep secrets. You're not going to be separate and on an island like that. And it doesn't prove anything. It puts people's lives in jeopardy. In California years ago, we took hazing out of the education code and put it into the penal code to take it a bit more seriously visually. And so, we kind of keep coming back to this where the desire to belong creates the potential for certain people to take advantage of other people. And I talk about it as like strains, sprains, and fractures. And you could break your arm just like you could break the law. But often you get as much pain. I broke a finger once and didn't feel a thing. I sprained an ankle and it felt terrible. You can sprain or strain the law and not break it and do more damage. even if you don't get in trouble like this or potentially go to jail like this, you can still ruin someone's college experience. So on a whole lot of levels, we need to be more careful, more creative about how we define brotherhood. We got to stop saying because I went through it, they got to go through it. And because it's costing people's lives, it's costing people their college experiences, which can be ruined. And also people bring trauma to situations in any event. They bring trauma to their college years, to their college times. And these particular things can actually remind of trauma. So there's a whole lot of reasons this shouldn't be happening. And hopefully we get better.
Rebecca, yeah, it just stuns me that these idiots keep doing it. And let's just be real clear. What you would have here? You got 19, 20, 21-year-olds who are in leadership positions, who are in power, and you don't have grown folks there. But let's also be clear. You got some grad chapters. I remember the New York Post did a story, and it was a grad chapter, and a guy was pledged at Omega, and he was hospitalized after being paddled. And there's no fraternity, there's no sorority that is immune from this. Can't nobody say, oh, not us. All Divine Nine, and this thing goes, hell, you got HBCU bands, and listen, white fraternities as well, but the entire thing is just dumb. It's stupid, it's idiotic, and yes, it's also criminal.
So I do want to say this, especially talking about 19, 20, 21-year-olds, especially because some of the work that I do is on college campuses. I have empathy, immense empathy for the family, the loved ones of Caleb, who passed away. I also have empathy for those who are involved in the incidents that led to that particular death. It is my personal opinion that any of these people involved don't go with the intention of someone losing their life for a process. So I do want to say to table set and say that. That said, as a member of a Divine Nine organization, I do think it is impertinent for all of us to focus on the mission, the vision of our founders, and the purpose in which our organizations were founded. We also have to make sure that there are safe processes for membership intake. So people, some people do want to feel that they earn their way into an organization, but we have to make sure it is in healthy and safe ways. It's in ways that it's not criminal. It's not in ways in which it's dehumanizing. But I say this with a lot of empathy because there are lives ruined because of decisions that were made.
Kelly, I also think one of the problems is that too many members of organizations, whether they are Divine Nine, whether these white fraternities and sororities, whether they're HBCU bands and others, they stay quiet. Their silence allows it to happen. And the easiest way to stop somebody from hazing is that if you're standing there and they start, you jack their ass up right there.
For sure. I understand what everybody on the panel is saying, but at the end of the day, hazing is its own form of generational trauma, right? Because to my panelist's point of people feeling like they need to earn their spot in these prestigious organizations, where did they get that mentality from, such that you need to be under physical pain, under threat of frankly, life or death, quite literally, in order to feel worthy to be a part of this organization? That comes from generations before, thinking that it's okay to succumb to these conditions, right? And I am not a part of Divine Nine, but I can surmise that these founders, who were also, keep in mind, 19, 20, 21-year-old men and women who founded these incredible organizations, I sincerely doubt that these founders decided upon themselves to come up with such tactics in order for others and themselves, frankly, to be part of these organizations. So the breakdown is, where did it start? And I'm not saying whether that's relevant or not, but it does need to be examined so that moving forward, we can kind of rewire these young people's minds such that, understand, their founders didn't do this. Their founders didn't start this. These are succeedants of the founders who started this, and it is not necessarily a part of the tenets and the values of the organization. And thinking that you need to be under peril in order to feel worthy needs to be examined so that tragedies like this don't happen anymore.
Well, I can tell you, I remember reading Alpha history, and one of our founders called out hazing in the 1930s. So the reality is we're talking about this has been going on 70, 90 years. And again, one, I absolutely believe that folks who haze, guess what? If you got to go to jail, you got to go to jail. You got to go to prison, you got to go to prison. You get kicked out as well. But what the folks don't understand is they are putting organizations in peril because of the lawsuits, the settlements, the jury verdicts that have to be paid as well. And again, the problem is you have existing members. I've had this conversation. I've had people hit me up, say, dog, why you got to go so hard against hazing? I'm like, why is your... Oh, man. I said, why won't you do it? Oh, I think the problem now, the intake process we got is too many soft brothers coming in. And I got to remind people, and I say this all the time, whenever you hear a member of an organization, a Divine Nine, they talk about that's a great alpha or a great AKA. They didn't, or great Delta or what, they didn't become a great member because of how they pledged or where they pledged. They didn't become a great member because they went to HBCU or PWI. We call them great because of what they accomplished in their careers. And so the only way hazing, when we talk about cops who act a fool as well, the quickest way to stop cops from acting a fool is when the partner stops them in that moment from acting a fool. And that's one of the issues. When you have members who refuse to stop their own, call them out, and also kick them out of the organization, then that's what you get. He is not dead. If you had one Omega with integrity, decency, and honor, who in that moment would have walked up to any brother and said, if any one of y'all touch any one of these pledgees, I'm going to light your ass up. Or if y'all even think about, if you attempt to physically assault one of these, I'm going to call 911 and have your ass arrested on the spot. Members have got to have the integrity to challenge and call out other members. And that's where all of this starts. We'll keep you all abreast what happens next. Going to a break. We'll be right back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
This week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie, we're talking about the ups and the downs of the holidays, the ebb and flow of life, those things that keep us running and gunning. But there comes a time in each of our lives where we need to just sit down, sit back, and relax, giving you a chance to really find out who you are and how you're going to move your life forward.
How do I learn? How do I grow from this? And that's where, resilience comes.
So I'm literally walking this out in real time. It's just giving myself all the grace, all the space, all the permission that I need.
We're talking about all of these things this week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie here on Black Star Network.
Hello, I'm Bishop T.D. Jakes, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, Trump's Justice Department, they're opening a sweeping civil rights investigation into Colorado's entire prison and youth detention system. Federal officials say they're looking at how the state handles everything from transgender and religious rights issues to allegations of abuse inside its facilities. The probe covers all 21 state prisons and 12 youth centers, and it also, investigators will be examining claims of inadequate medical care, unsafe or unsanitary conditions, excessive force against juveniles, poor nutrition, and a policy that houses biological males in women's units, something the DOJ says could violate federal religious freedom protections. Now, this all comes on the heels of a 2024 settlement over the treatment and housing of incarcerated transgender women, plus a series of scathing reports about Colorado youth facilities. Those reports detail illegal strip searches, overuse of restraints, and basic safety failures so severe that one major center had to be emptied, then partially reopened months later. Now, some of you watching may say, wow, Roland, I think that's great. I think that's awesome. That's what the DOJ should be doing. They should be investigating all of these prisons. What I just read for y'all is bullshit. That's not why Trump's DOJ is investigating the Colorado prison system. Some of y'all now watching are like, now I'm confused. I don't quite understand what you're saying. Well, there's a woman named Tina Peters, okay? And if you've never heard the name Tina Peters, that's no shot. Tina Peters is a white woman who was an election official in Colorado who basically tried to help steal the election. Donald Trump and his MAGA people have been demanding that Tina Peters be released from prison. Now, here's the problem, y'all. She wasn't convicted on federal charges. See, if she was convicted on federal charges, oh, she'd be home by now because Trump would have partnered. But she was convicted on state charges. So what this is, Rebecca, is retaliation against Colorado for refusing to release Tina Peters, who tried to help Trump cheat the 2020 election.
So, Roland, you're telling me that this administration is doing things that isn't above board, that they're using the pretext and the fully bully puppet of the federal government to do dirt? Is that what you're suggesting?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, that sounds about criminal. So I would say for all of you all who are thinking about going to law school, please go to law school because we're going to need a lot of prosecutors whenever this is over because there's going to be a lot of people who are doing criminal acts that are probably going to prison in the future. So buckle up, folks. It's going to be a long, we have 3 more years of this.
Yeah, I mean, Kelly, they're mad. They're literally mad and upset that the governor of Colorado simply refuses to bend the knee, and they're like, hell no, we're not letting her corrupt, guilty ass out of prison.
And I want to be clear, that is exactly what's happening right now. This is a retaliation tactic, but it is also a very loud anti-trans dog whistle. Right? This administration has also made clear that they are anti-woke, that they don't need any more anything regarding Black people, regarding brown people, regarding LGBTQ people. This is the same administration that did nothing to address rampant abuses in federal prisons nationwide. Right? So the fact that all of a sudden you're hearing, oh, there are males in the female prison, like that's not what's happening here. That, first of all, that is across the board, not just in Colorado, because gender affirming care shouldn't stop just because you're in prison. That is a humanitarian issue. Right? But at the same time, if we're going to talk about safety, we need to talk about it for everyone, men, women, and trans people who are often at the highest risk of violence in these situations. And they're not talking about that. Why? Because they don't care. They do not care. So whenever Trump wants to distract his base, they package it real good. Like the articles that you're going to be reading about this, they package it real good, talking about safety and, you know, religious rights and all of those things.
All lies.
Exactly. All lies. All lies. But they pick a target each and every time, whether it's an immigrant, a Black prosecutor, LGBTQ Americans. Now we're talking about Colorado. And now that we're going into a midterm election year, I just want to put this out there. For Democrats to win and keep power, we have to call out these narratives. We have to call out the fact that the DOJ is being weaponized, the fact that anti-trans initiatives and narratives are being pushed. And while they are a minority within the minority, They are the canary in the mine when it comes to everybody's rights. If they are being infringed upon, we are next.
Okay, this is real simple, Joe. So this is the white woman right here, Tina Peters. This is her right here, okay? This is why Trump is doing this, okay? Pure and simple, because of this cheater right here. This is Associated Press story. This is from Monday. A federal magistrate judge on Monday rejected a bid by a former Colorado County clerk to be released from prison while she appeals her state conviction for orchestrating a data breach scheme driven by false claims about voting machine fraud in the 2020 presidential election. Former Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters filed a federal lawsuit asking that she be released on bond while her appeal is considered. Attorneys for the state had argued the case should be thrown out, partly because of a legal doctrine that prevents federal courts from getting involved in pending state criminal trials. Her attorney, they're disappointed, maintaining that she's innocent, that voting machines can't be trusted. The bottom line is this here. Joe, she got sentenced to 9 years in prison. 9 years in prison as a result of this. Tina Peters is a crook, and she should have been sentenced. She stood with Donald Trump in his lies about the election, how they trashed voting machines. She is an absolute election denier, and you know what? That shit got her ass in prison. And they're pissed off that she got convicted on state charges because little Trump can't throw her a pardon like he did all of those January 6th domestic terrorists.
Yeah, it's really funny because, and then she even brings the claim in federal court, too, as if the feds have anything to do with overturning a state conviction, which is just absolutely incredulous. So it's pretty, to the point that's been made, even though this is for her, it's also about the trans issue as well, because out of that lawsuit, there was a requirement of creating a 100-bed facility for trans women as well. And so here we go. Let's go back to the dog whistles. Let's go back to the things that get people hot and get people voting for Trump. So they can make you forget about the fact that you're hungry, make you forget about the fact that your mom's Medicaid is being threatened, the fact that your grandmother lost her job in the federal government. All you have to do is make them mad about trans people, as if that puts money in your pocket, as if that gets you a job, as if they're to blame for their run of bad luck, for someone else's run of bad luck. So, yeah, it is kind of interesting and convenient. And it's, a bit disheartening, to say the least, to be reminded that this administration will move the levers of power for political grudges, trying to step on the feet and the toes, as it were, of other branches of government, state versus federal, federal legislature, federal judiciary branch, to get what it is that they want. And I hope that Colorado continues to hold strong in what it is that it's actually doing. But of course, they may say it a certain way, but we all knew that, and this is a perfect example. That when they talk about this DOJ doing anything that has the potential to actually deal with actual safety issues in prisons and things like that, that there's nothing to it, because that's not what they do at all. They've done everything that they could to undo consent decrees, to undo accountability for the judicial decrees, the consent decrees that were put in different places, Minneapolis, Louisville, other places. So that they don't mean any good. So I'm always looking at what the purpose is behind it. And it's crystal clear, like we're saying, as to what the purpose is. So hopefully Colorado continues to hold tight. This judge understands he doesn't have any jurisdiction over this issue. And hopefully that'll continue, because right now, it's these judges that are doing the right thing, that are giving us the opportunity to hold the line, so that hopefully the rule of law can continue to survive and keep this country together, as it were.
Yep. I hope people really understand why federal judges matter. Speaking of federal judges, one in California has once again blocked Trump's administration from keeping the California National Guard under federal control and using those troops for whatever they want, such as being on the streets of Los Angeles during immigration enforcement operations. Judge Charles Breyer ruled that Trump lacks the authority to keep roughly 300 Guard members in federal status without a clear emergency and order control returned to California Governor Gavin Newsom. His order, temporarily on hold until Monday to give the Justice Department time to appeal, follows Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's move to put California Guard troops under federal command to guard immigration agents and even deploy some to Oregon under Title X. The White House is standing by its claim that Trump has broad power to federalize the Guard and is signaling it will fight the ruling. Yeah, but you kind of got to have a reason to do so, y'all. You kind of got a reason to do so. Now, I found this to be interesting. In Louisiana, a convenience store manager just gave Border Patrol a very public know your rights lesson. Wayne Davis, an assistant manager at a Brothers store in Kenner, Louisiana, says two unmarked SUVs roared into the parking lot and agents in Border Patrol vests walked toward the entrance as part of the Catahoula Crunch immigration sweeps. Now, he locked the door to keep them from entering the store. Louisiana has a new law that makes it a crime to interfere with federal immigration enforcement. However, that doesn't apply when a private business refuses entry without a warrant. Davis says he studied those rights in advance and wasn't about to let them do what they think they can do. See, Joe, it's amazing what happened. Do we have the audio on that video? Okay, come on, y'all, roll it. I want us to hear what happened. Please.
What you want, man? You want some chicken? You ain't getting it here, bro. Go somewhere else. You're not getting no chicken. Dang, you don't want to show your face now? I know you can hear me. I know you can hear me. There you go. Why you not showing your face? You wanted to show your face everywhere else? Come on. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck y'all. Ice, you're not coming in here. Locked. Locked. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
This, Joe, is why you got to know your rights.
Yeah, know your rights. And I'm going to tell you, it's really, really important because the fact of the matter is often the folks of ICE seem to rely on you not knowing your rights, right? We saw a situation recently here where somebody chased a lady onto her own property, back to her own property. And then I think it was her husband or somebody that came out and told those guys to step. Said, what are y'all doing here? And they tried to act smart or whatever else. And, he had a couple expletives, that were colorful. But they knew that they couldn't do anything. So these folks roll up as a general statement. These folks roll up with no warrant. The first question, where is the warrant, bro? Where is the warrant? If there is no warrant, step. Okay? If there is no warrant, step. And I think it is important for people to understand and to be armed with information and armed with knowledge. And I believe that it makes a difference when communities and people in communities get each other's back peacefully and let them know that we're watching, while you guys walk around with masks on. Listen, we don't know who you are. By the way, BTWIJS, you running around with a mask. There have been people that have been raped and harmed and everything else picked up by people with masks on and didn't know who they were, didn't identify themselves. So knowing the law is everything. You are penalized in this world for what you don't know. Yet it's important all the more to be armed with information because this administration and the people that are under it, the branches of the tree, they're not worried about the law at all. So you can do two things. You can protect yourself and give them a little education too. Now, they don't tend to be on the educated side, particularly as it pertains to common sense, but you can help them out anyway and plant a seed. And hopefully maybe it'll get a little bit better. And that will be your good deed for the day. So protect yourself with the law.
On that particular point there, in terms of these folks came out, it's an important point, Rebecca. We don't actually know if these people are federal agents. They also, because we don't know if they're oath keepers, they're Proud Boys, they refuse to show ID, they want to cover up names, they got their faces hidden. Also, which we have to also factor in here as well, they're rolling up with administrative warrants, not warrants signed by judges. And so they're just showing any kind of piece of paper.
And to your point, we have people who are serving in government who were supposed to be properly confirmed and haven't been confirmed, especially when I think about some of the AUSAs, the assistant U.S. attorneys that are stepping down or being told, hey, you can't prosecute in this jurisdiction because you haven't been properly appointed. So it's all sorts of chaos, Roland. And to your point, this is when it becomes scary because we are seeing human trafficking that's happening because of ICE. We're seeing people who are snatched, taken, family members not knowing where these people are actually going, where they're being detained. One thing that we are sure of is that people's constitutional rights are not being observed during this moment. And so saying all of this is a very dangerous situation because under normal times, if someone with a mask come up to you and try to forcibly remove you from a public area or a private area, well, you have other rights. You have your Second Amendment rights as well. But we're now in a very dangerous and untenable and very unstable situation because if you exercise those rights and they are later told, oh, this was federal law enforcement, it's going to be a very gray and dangerous and scary area for this country. And it's very unfortunate. And for our New Orleans folks, you all know Kenner is out where the airport is. So it lets you know that ICE is very active, still extremely active in the New Orleans area.
And the problem with these people for me, Kelly, is they don't give a damn. They rolling up, they busting windows. They literally are ramming their cars into cars. And so I'm glad that this store owner knew his rights and said, no, y'all ain't coming in here. In fact, I saw the other day, they were walking up to somebody's house and they have security cameras. They turned their security camera away. You can't touch somebody's personal property like that. But here's the key. Kelly, Donald Trump has said, y'all can do whatever y'all want. And if anything happens, don't worry about it. I'm going to pardon you.
But that, to my panelist's point, that is what's truly scary about this situation because being given a directive like that, if you were a true officer of the law, a true law enforcement officer, you would think twice about following through with that because that goes against the oath that you gave before the directive came down, right? Trump isn't trying to keep people safe in Los Angeles. He's trying to send a message that he can override governors. Mind you, the Constitution gives states the right to control their own National Guard. And it's also really ironic for the Trump administration to be doing something like this when they have been touting states' rights on the other side of this, right? So we're talking about a situation in which the federal government is Trump's administration in federal government is saying, oh, states, you can do what you want and da-da-da-da-da. But when it comes to states that Trump doesn't like, oh, now we got to take over. They're doing it with D.C. They're trying to do it with L.A. They're trying to do it in Chicago, trying to do it in New York, trying to do it in all these jurisdictions that do not care about what Trump has to say because they know what Trump is doing is illegal. Right? They know that he's trying to expand presidential power. They know that he's trying to, basically curate a private militia, all of which is illegal, all of which is authoritarian cosplay at this point. So yeah, like it's ironic in the worst way what this administration is trying to do. Kudos to the guy in Louisiana who understands his rights. I hope and pray that this serves as an example and a shining light for other people to do the same because this can't keep going on. And Democrats and people who see this happening and, see every red flag just flaring, they can't just sit by and do nothing because that is also complicit.
Absolutely. All right, folks, going to a break. We come back. A black university in Indiana is shutting down. Why? Because the Republican governor is cutting off funds. Did I not tell y'all they were trying to defund Black America? Some of y'all so fixated on the Diddy 50 Cent documentary that you won't realize what the hell is happening in our world right now. We'll talk about that. Plus, White Republican lawmakers in D.C., they want to rename Black Lives Matter Plaza after Charlie Kirk. We're going to talk about that. You want to support the work that we do, join our Green and Funk fan club. You want to contribute. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing on average $50 each a year. Right now, folks, we're in the middle of trying to raise about $1 million toward the end of this year to launch the new products that we're doing. We got a new daily news show we're launching, a health show, business show. And then, of course, we got a lot of places we're going to be going in 2026, covering elections all across the country. So if you want to contribute, you want to give via Cash App, use a Stripe QR code. You see it right here, bottom left-hand corner. You can also use that for credit cards as well. PayPal is R. Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. I've got about almost 300 checks that came in the last couple of months. I was opening envelopes today. It took me about 3 hours. So if y'all want to send a check and money order, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 2003-7-0196. Back in a moment.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. Our legal roundtable is back in session as we look at yet another potential landmark case being considered by the United States Supreme Court. This one is called 303 Creative versus Alennis, and may be the most important and far-reaching First Amendment, that is freedom of speech, case of our time. It could, depending on how the court rules, open the door for a return of Jim Crow segregation laws. It's true.
If you say we can discriminate against one, you're saying we can discriminate against all.
That's on the next Black Table. Don't miss it. Right here on the Black Star Network.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Godfrey, the funniest dude on the planet. And you're watching
Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks. I've said numerous times, the next 3 years are going to be pure hell for Black America. Everything about these races is to shut down what's happening in our community. And in Indiana, that's exactly what is happening. The only predominantly Black institution in Indiana, Martin University, will pause operations at the end of the semester, citing financial and student enrollment challenges. The announcement comes months after Indiana Republican Governor Mike Braun yanked a one-time $10 million state grant meant to support minority and first-generation students. The university's president, Sean Huddleston, abruptly stepped down on November 28th to pursue other opportunities. Classes will end on December 13th. Students say they found out by email at the same time as faculty, with no clear plan yet for transfers or graduation. University leaders blame declining enrollment and finances, but members of the Indiana Black Legislative Caucus warned that shuttering Martin will widen the achievement gap and erase a critical pathway for Black, first-generation, and non-traditional students in the state. Martin University was founded in 1977 by Reverend Boniface Hardin and Sister, Reverend Father Boniface Hardin and Sister Jane Schilling. It was named after Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and St. Martin de Porres. The university celebrated its 40th anniversary in 2017. We reached out to the school's leadership and the board of trustees. Neither responded to our request. I keep saying this is going to happen, y'all. It's going to happen because what you are seeing is the constant attack on Blackness. You're seeing this. And I want you to understand, I laid this out when I framed it, the defunding of Black America. And the attack is coming, again, that's an education institution. Texas got rid of its disadvantaged business hub that helped minority and women-owned businesses get state contracts. That's attacking us economically. They're attacking us politically. So check this out. A white man from South Africa who was born and raised in apartheid South Africa, who now votes in America, is angry and doesn't want Somalis who came to America and became citizens to also vote. That's Elon Musk. So Elon gave an interview with Katie Miller, you know, the white woman who's married to the white supremacist Stephen Miller. So in the interview, Elon is complaining about Somalis being able to vote. He's complaining about Somalis. There's so many Somalis in Minnesota. And so he's like, oh my God, what, you know, this makes no sense whatsoever. And so here's Elon on the Katie Miller podcast.
When people say like this is fake, I'm like, actually, well, let's look at, you know, Ilhan Omar, who was voted into Congress by, you know, a large group of people from Somalia who are in Minnesota, which is really far from Somalia. Or Mamdani, who was voted to be mayor, but by a majority of people who are not born in America. That's my understanding, at least. And then California is a big time situation. So I don't know. We just don't want to turn into a you know, communist hellhole, basically. When people say like this is fake.
This is why I'm confused here, Kelly. So is Elon saying only people born in America can vote? His ass wasn't born. In fact, Representative Ilhan Omar came here legally, got her status legally. Elon's own family said he came here illegally. Boy, it's amazing, though, because he's white. And what he's really saying is, listen, I just want white people to vote, no matter where you're from.
This man is the ultimate hypocrite.
And racist, and racist.
And racist, for sure. But his racism is also rooted in hypocrisy, which is why I like to really bring home just how hypocritical this man is. You're talking about a non-American citizen completely injecting himself into American politics. You're talking about somebody who's racist but benefits from DEI initiatives. You're talking about somebody who's anti-trans but also benefits from gender-affirming care, being hair transplants, Botox, testosterone, you name it, just to look as weird as he does anyway. You're talking about somebody whose entire life has been propelled and upheld on the backs of people who he despises, and yet he still spouts what he spouts. So I can't take anything that he says seriously. What I can do is still remain cautious and weary of the influence that he has on this president, on his cronies, on his followers, right? And that's all I really got on the situation, because you can't take him seriously otherwise.
But you have to take him seriously. And the reason you gotta take him seriously, because this was Trump last night. And listen to this.
I've also announced a permanent pause on third world migration, including from hellholes like Afghanistan, Haiti, Somalia, and many other countries. I didn't say shithole, you did. Remember I said that to the senators, they came in, the Democrats. They wanted to be bipartisan. So they came in and they said, this is totally off the record. Nothing mentioned here. We want to be honest because our country was going to hell. And we had a meeting And I say, why is it we only take people from shithole countries, right? Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden, just a few? Let us have a few. From Denmark, do you mind sending us a few people? Send us some nice people, do you mind? But we always take people from Somalia, places that are a disaster, right? Filthy, dirty, disgusting, ridden with crime. The only thing they're good at is going after ships.
Racist said, we need white people. His refugee program, I want white South Africans. They literally, and now what they're doing is, they also announced that they are going to, if you are a tourist coming to the United States, they are going to start searching the last 5 years of your social media to see if you have said anything negative about Trump or America. But what Elon Musk said, remember, let's go back to the race. We're talking about Haitians were eating dogs. They were trying to run them out. Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, MAGA. What they are saying point blank, we need white people. Elon Musk tweets every day about declining birth rates. All they care about is whiteness. That's what's going on here, Rebecca. So we better take seriously, because they are purposely saying it's Boston. They had a naturalization service, Rebecca, and they walked up. People are in line. These are people who have studied, taken tests, and been vetted, and they said, what country are you from? Oh, no. You're on the list. Sent them home. This is real.
Now, Roland, I was going to say something, but then you mentioned Boston. Can we be truthful? Boston has always been racist.
No.
Like, come on.
I know Boston. No. Follow me here. I know Boston is racist. What I'm saying is they are doing this at naturalization ceremonies across the country. They have a list. And what Donald Trump is saying, if you are from a black country, if you are from a non-white country, we are not going to grant you legal status.
Yes, we are under racial apartheid. We've been under racism, but now this is racial apartheid. When you reference South Africa, where did South Africa get it from? They got it from the United States. They studied early Jim Crow. What's super interesting about this, all of the countries that Trump named are the very countries that Western society, so white countries, European countries, have been raping and pillaging and stealing its resources. So if these are such hellhole countries, then why are all these Western nations dependent on the resources from these countries? So we know what this thing is. And quite frankly, with Elon Musk, he's worth what, 50 billion, 100 billion? How much money is he worth, Roland?
Oh, no. He's close to becoming a trillionaire. He signed that new contract. Yeah.
So he's going to be the first trillionaire. If look, I can't speak for other people's pockets, but if I was trillionaire status, I wouldn't care about any of that.
No.
I would not be.
But when you are a supreme racist, Joe, you do care, and you're using your money and the platforms that you're buying to do it. Here's what I think is funny, Joe. Trump hey, can y'all send us some Sweden from Denmark? Well, Trump, they don't like you. Go to my iPad. This is the number of Europeans traveling to the United States. Do y'all see this here? This is what it was in 2024 from Austria. Down. Denmark, down. Germany, down. Iceland, down. UK, Sweden, Spain, Norway. This doesn't even include Canada. Guess what? The white countries, they're not trying to live under this right-wing white racist.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember during Trump's term, during his first term, being in London. And, they were looking at me like, what y'all do? I'm like, well, I didn't do it.
Hey, what black people?
People over there.
What black people?
What? Like, what you talking about, Willis? But to the point that was just made, Rebecca said, that when if I had $1 trillion, I wouldn't really care about what other people had. Well, that's because Rebecca is a giving person with common sense. There's a whole lot of people out there. As a matter of fact, poor people. You don't even have to be a trillionaire. You ever met somebody that it was just as important for other people not to have as for them to have? So it's not even so much about what I have. It's me being focused on what other people don't. And you have that. And now you have the resources to turn that up, to amplify it. So now you create Doge and buy an election. And now you can get your folk at the home on the range in South Africa, in the country, and you can keep the black people out of the country and while your friends take their resources all at the same time. It's not even so much about what someone has. It's about making sure other people don't, even at the same time, which is absolutely crazy. Listen, our Somali brothers and sisters, our Ethiopian brothers and sisters, they're less likely to be here illegally in the first place. No disrespect to other folk. These guys run a square joint. By the time they get over here, they usually have the legal right to be here. Okay. And that's one of the reasons why, even try as they might, if ICE does something in those communities, like in Minneapolis, it's not going to be because people's paperwork wasn't straight. So that's interesting because, if you really want to be technical about, quote, who's following the law and who's not, there's those of us that know that we have to run a square joint, so to speak, and we have to follow the law and these other things. So the hypocrisy, again, is amazing that he feels entitled to actually speak on this issue. He's not even from this country at all. But to his mind, he can come here and buy it. But that's not inconsistent with the sentiment that founded the country in the first place. So, as it were, I guess the fruit doesn't fall too far from the tree.
Absolutely. All right, y'all, going to go to break. We come back. They really want a Charlie Kirk Plaza in Washington, D.C. outside of our building. Oh, hell no. Hell to the no. Also, that rally last night, Trump bragged about how many black votes he got. Man, we didn't vote for your ass. I'm going to show that to you. Oh, and we're going to talk about MLK Day, Juneteenth, how Trump has removed those as free days to visit federal landmarks. But you're gonna get a discount on his birthday. Yep, I'm gonna talk about that. Plus, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett joins us at 7:30, and so we'll talk about her running for the United States Senate. Lots to talk about in the second hour of Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
If in this country right now you have people get up in the morning and the only thing they can think about is how many people they can hurt, and they got the power, that's the time for mourning.
For better or worse, what makes America special, it's that legal system that's supposed to protect minorities from the tyranny of the majority.
We are at a point of a moral emergency. We must raise a voice of outrage. We must raise a voice of compassion. And we must raise a voice of unity.
We are not in a crisis of party versus party. We are in a crisis of civilization, a human rights crisis, and a crisis of democracy itself. And guess what? You've been chosen to make sure that those that would destroy, those that would hate, don't have the final say, and they don't ultimately win.
Michael McMillan, President and CEO of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Let's go. All right, folks, before he put on his Jackson State cap and gown, he put on the CEO crown. Joel Murchison created an app called Rapid AI Relief to help speed up and improve emergency response times. He developed the app in 2024 after participating in a workshop through the HBCU Founders Initiative, where students were tasked with developing ideas to enhance climate change awareness and community resilience. He joins us right now. I'm glad to have you here, Joel. So, all right, what does this app do? How does it work?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I first want to thank you so much for having me, and shout out to the greatest HBCU of all time, Jackson State University. But more for Rapid Relief AI gives emergency teams real-time visual during disasters, so that way we can provide disasters, the data reports, so that way insurance companies can help African American communities during national disasters.
All right. So how does the app work? First of all, folks watching, what's the name of the app?
It's called Rapid Relief AI.
Rapid Relief AI. Gotcha. How does the app work?
So it takes before and after imagery for drones, and then once it does that, it uses AI change detection to automate the actual damage assessment, so that way you can help the customers and insurance companies, so that way we can provide faster payouts. So that way, let's say your home is destroyed, right? Your roof is destroyed. Then you have your actual claim being filled out with actual AI, and then it automates that actual claims process, and then it delivers, and that way you're able to receive faster payouts.
All right, cool. And so who uses the app? Do consumers use it? Like, who actually uses it? Is it FEMA who uses it?
So our target audience right now is FEMA and NGOs, but then once we go into our next phase, then we'll be focusing on customers.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Questions from the panel. Rebecca, you first.
Thank you so much for being on here tonight and sharing this with us. So is this something that you'll be selling to businesses, so like insurance companies, or is this something that the ordinary person, the ordinary consumer can use?
So I'll actually be selling this to businesses, so that way they can make sure that they're actually focusing on the communities that actually matters, especially African American communities, like Hurricane Katrina, for example, when most communities, they wasn't receiving the proper aid that they actually deserved due to FEMA organizations not knowing where to actually go.
Joe?
Yes, sir.
Great. Many congratulations for what it is that you're doing here. I wonder if, and maybe you started to talk about it a little bit in answer to the other question, there was anything in terms of, in the way of a personal experience or something that you saw that allowed you to start to think creatively about how to problem solve. So often, some of the things that we create in society, in business, in technology, et cetera, are connected to a very serious need. So what is it that actually inspired you and that sprung you into action related to doing this app?
Well, thank you so much for that amazing question. Well, actually being inspired by great leaders like MLK and Malcolm X definitely is one of my main missions in life, to make sure that I bring community to my community and impact. But really, I would definitely say, since a young kid, I always dealt with disasters. I remember growing up in Atlanta when we had the snowstorm, but also my first year of college, we actually had a snowstorm, and I remember my internship with the National Park. I had the opportunity to speak to the climate change director, and they didn't have no solution on how they was going to be able to fix the water crisis in Jackson. So just by doing that, I got tired of waiting. I wanted to make sure that I was a problem solver and making sure that I was a doer. And by going to the workshop with HBCU Founder Initiative, shout out to them, they inspired me to dive deeper into my purpose. And my main mission is to make sure that I'm educating people with the help of AI and how we can be able to create generational wealth. And that's why I'm so glad that I have this platform.
All right, so it's an app, but I don't see it on the Apple Store. So how do you access it? Is it web-based, meaning from a computer, or is it an actual app for the phone?
So right now it's currently on the computer, so you can access it with rapidreliefai.com. That way you'll be able to actually be able to experience and log in with the actual platform, and you'll be able to fill out your actual claim right now. And from that moment on, and then we're currently about to launch very soon onto the Apple Store.
Kelly.
Sure. So, first of all, this concept is incredible. How have you tested the success of this app yet? So, in other words, have you put this app to the test in a real life scenario yet, or is this all hypothetical and you know that it works because of like internal testing and things like that?
So we currently have been doing internal testing where we had up to 100 users actually test the actual platform. And we also been working with universities as well, so that way we can be able to advance the actual technology with universities like Carnegie Mellon and LSU being able to help us and make sure that we continue to advance.
All right, then. Well, Joel, good luck with it. Again, rapidreliefai.com. Right now it's web-based, and then we'll be waiting to see when the app drops. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir, and thank you so much for having me.
All right. Folks, going to go to a break. We come back. More on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Said the quiet part out loud. Black votes are a threat, so they erased them. After the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act in 2013, Republican legislatures moved fast. New voter ID laws, polling place shutdowns, purges of black voters from the rolls. Trump's Justice Department didn't stop it. They joined in. In 2018, his DOJ backed Ohio's voter purge system, a scheme that disproportionately erased black voters. Their goal, erase black votes and political power. Yeah, that happened. These are the kinds of stories that we cover every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Subscribe on YouTube and download the Black Star Network app. Support fact-based independent journalism that centers African Americans and the issues that matter to our community.
Now that Roland Martin is willing to give me the blueprint, hey, Ross, I need to go to Tyler Perry and get another blueprint because I need some green money. The only way I can do what I'm doing, I need to make some money. So you'll see me working with Roland. Matter of fact, it's the Roland Martin and Cheryl Underwood show. Well, should it be the Cheryl Underwood show and the Roland Martin show? Well, whatever show it's going to be good.
All right, folks, y'all might remember that the building outside where we are is formerly Black Lives Matter Plaza. In Washington, D.C., they painted this in 2020, and this is what it used to look like, but the street was completely torn down and demolished because Republicans demanded Washington, D.C. do that because they didn't like it. You might remember when he was dying of pancreatic cancer, his last visit in Washington, D.C., Congressman John Lewis stood out on the street with D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, and he wanted to make that visit before he transitioned, and so that's what it used to be. So guess what's happening right now? Now these are wacky nutcase Republicans, because they can demand, they can force D.C. to do what they want because they control the House and the Senate. So guess what? Nancy Mace now claims she's going to fight like hell to rename the old Black Lives Matter Plaza for Charlie Kirk. This is her idiotic, stupid-ass statement. Now, mind you, Nancy Mace represents South Carolina, not Washington, D.C. And so she goes, Charlie Kirk, assassinated for defending free speech. BLM bought a $6 million mansion with your donations. One deserves a memorial in D.C., the other deserves an investigation. We introduced the Charlie Kirk Freedom of Speech Plaza Act to rename Black Lives Matter Plaza and honor a true American patriot. We should honor a martyr for freedom, not a terrorist organization that got rich off chaos. We are Charlie Kirk. Fuck you, Nancy Mace. This is the bullshit that we're talking about here. This is the bullshit right here. Okay? People like Nancy Mace. What's wrong, Kelly? Yeah, I said it. I said it.
Nothing. Not a thing.
So this is what I'm talking about. These right-wing nutcases want to force their stuff. Charlie Kirk was a racist. Period. I don't want to hear this First Amendment bullshit and, oh, my God, It's about freedom. No, Charlie Kirk did not give a damn about black people, despised King, trashed the Civil Rights Act. But this is the crap that they do when they have the power. And what do we always say, Rebecca? If you don't vote, this is the stuff that you get.
You know what, Roland? I was just looking up to see if Nancy Mace has actually passed anything. Has she even got a post office named in her district? This is her third term in Congress. So out of everything that South Carolinians are going through, this is what they want. They want their member of Congress to decide that they're going to rename a street in D.C. But here's the other thing. Does she really think that Black Lives Matter Plaza was named after incorporated Black Lives Matter movement in a particular city? Or she just doesn't understand the sentiment that Black Lives Matter.
Rebecca, stop. Rebecca. Rebecca, you know her dumb ass ain't that smart. You know dumbass Nancy Mace. That is way too much nuance for dumbass Nancy Mace.
Roland, I am trying. Like, these stories.
No, you can't try. She is dumb.
Yes.
Dumb.
Did Charlie Kirk even know her? Does she know Charlie Kirk? Has she ever met him? Why is she going so hard for Charlie Kirk? According to Candace Owens wants the federal government to actually fully investigate the death of Charlie Kirk. So maybe Nancy Mace can advocate for that instead.
Kelly?
Yes. I'm sorry. All right. So
Kelly, say something now.
I got you. So here's my thing about Charlie Kirk, right? I haven't really talked much about him at all. And not because I don't have much to say, but mainly because it's not worth saying, because he wasn't worth, frankly, remembering. He didn't do anything. We're talking about a community college school dropout who was given a mic. He's a glorified podcast bro that these Republicans have rallied behind because he got shot. That's it. He didn't say anything of value. He didn't say anything of significance, not even within their own talking points. He didn't say anything. If this man had not died, they wouldn't be talking about him. So I don't see why I should be talking about him. That's it.
Yeah, this was, I took this photo here, Joe. I took this photo here because, when these idiots were talking about tearing it down, and I was like, here they come. And the bottom line is, that's what they do. I mean, they are, because they control the purse strings, they told Mayor Bowser, oh yeah, you don't rip up that street, and it damn near cost $1 million to rip it up. You don't do that, we ain't approving your budget.
Yeah, that's crazy. But here's what it comes down to. They're getting ready to be outnumbered. They know they're getting ready to be outnumbered. And so what you want to do is you want to erase everything black you possibly can, everything of color that you possibly can. But the problem is there's going to still be more of us. You're still going to be outnumbered. You're still going to have these issues. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, you're not even doing a particularly good job, the Nancy Mace of the world, of taking care of your own people. Your mamas and daddies are losing Medicare. You let people sit around and say, I don't want Obamacare, but I'll keep ACA. They've been saying that for 10 years. Meanwhile, certain people are trying to make it go away. And ultimately, the proof's going to be in the pudding. What you actually do for people to push them forward. Charlie Kirk, whatever Charlie Kirk was not, I'm too busy trying to get to heaven myself and make sure I'm standing at the gate and they don't tell me something about something that I had no business doing. You know what I mean? I'm too busy kind of working on mine. Just like hopefully Charlie Kirk was working on his. I don't have no heaven or hell to put him in, but I know one thing about it, that I know he's gone and he's not doing anything for anybody now. Whatever somebody may have purported that he was doing then. So I don't think that's particularly important because it's not putting food in anybody's mouth. It's not turning anybody's life, changing anybody's life for the better. Having a discussion about taking white people out and taking black people out and putting white people in because of entitlement and insecurity. And so, we have to stay focused. It's a very interesting thing that this is what it is that we're dealing with, and you're seeing it happen everywhere. But the Trump administration always makes mistakes. They love the dog whistles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they always make mistakes as it pertains to not taking care of, regular people, many of which look like them. And ultimately, I think that you're seeing it politically, that there's going to be a price to pay for that. And that's not going to change. And you're getting ready to be outnumbered.
Oh, y'all know they can't stand the outnumbering part. Check this out. This is this fool talking about last night about, how he got massive black support.
I tell you, black people love Trump. I got the biggest vote. I got the biggest vote with black people. They know a scam better than anybody. They know what it is to be scammed. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. We did great. Thank you. I like this guy.
He said, black people know a scam better than anybody. Yeah. That's why we didn't vote with your punk ass. Numbers don't lie. Black women voted the highest against Trump. Black men second highest. So yeah, Donald, you're right. We know a scam. We know a crook. We know a con man. We know a fraudster. This is what it looks like. Looks like right there. You're the con man. You're the con man. You're the fraudster. That's who we're dealing with here. Period. Nobody's fooled by this fool, Rebecca. And guess what? He's getting nailed left and right by voters, and that's what's going on. And you know what? They know they're going to get their asses kicked in the midterm next year. They know the economy sucks. And now even the white folks are waking up going, God damn it, this fool been lying to us. These farmers ain't even buying the $12 billion bailout.
Even one of the local speakers that he had speak before his rally, and she was talking about how she was a waitress, a longtime server, trying to make ends meet, and she's struggling to pay for things. But then she was up there introducing Trump. So I was really confused because this is the same person, the same administration that's refusing to release inflation numbers, refusing to release current GDP numbers, refusing to release information that shows where jobs are in this country. So the jig is up. We understand that people aren't doing well in this country, but he keeps saying the same things over and over. He's telling all of us that everything is okay. And unfortunately, there's a subset of people who believe that. So for those of you who are angry, who are upset, you understand that things cost a lot of money. You don't agree in the direction in which this country is going. I need you to double check your voter registration. I need you to make sure everyone within your household, within your sphere of influence are registered to vote and are monthly checking the voter registration, because 2026 is here, y'all. You get to do something at the ballot box, and there's many states that are going to make it harder and tougher for you to exercise your right to vote. And we always say every election, this is the most important election. Well, guess what? Every single election is important, especially in 2026.
Calling out how Trump is screwing up this economy. This is what he had to say.
Why did we move today? I would say point to a couple things. First of all, gradual cooling in the labor market has continued. Unemployment is now up 0.3 from June through September. Payroll jobs averaging 40,000 per month since April. We think there's an overstatement in these numbers by about 60,000, so that would be negative 20,000 per month.
I challenge. Lying. That's what we got going on. He's screwing the economy up. All right, I'm going to go to a break. We come back. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, the Crockett Chronicles live on the show. She's running for the United States Senate. Let's talk about it. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. Our legal roundtable is back in session as we look at yet another potential landmark case being considered by the United States Supreme Court. This one is called 303 Creative versus Elenis, and may be the most important and far-reaching First Amendment, that is freedom of speech, case of our time. It could, depending on how the court rules, open the door for a return of Jim Crow segregation laws. It's true.
If you say we can discriminate against one, you're saying we can discriminate against all.
That's on the next Black Tape. Don't miss it. Right here on the Black Star Network.
Melanie Campbell, National Coalition on Black Civic Participation and Black Women's Roundtable. And we are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered all day, every day, 24/7. Spread the word.
See, you know you bad when you're the only member of Congress, you got your own segment on my show. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett joins us right now, representing the 30th Congressional District in Texas. On Monday, she announced in Dallas that she was running for the United States Senate. A whole lot of folk have been talking. And first of all, let's be real clear. A whole lot of folk been lying, making up a lot of shit. So let's just go right there. But I got to start with this one here, because this is where I don't really understand. Hold on. I don't really understand these crazy people. Let me pull this up. So the Republicans, so the site Notice dropped this story like, oh, the Republicans led an AstroTurf campaign to trick Jasmine Crockett to running for the race. And so they had people calling her office to make it sound like people wanted her to run, and they were releasing all of these fake polls to hype her up. So Ryan Graham, okay, a reporter, he tweets this: the NRSC robocalled high-propensity Dems, urged them to call Jasmine Crockett's office, urging her to run for Senate, then connected the caller to the office. The GOP also ran and pushed around polls suggesting she'd win. Crockett then believed the AstroTurf hype and launched her bid. Congresswoman, how will you respond to this?
Okay, so first of all, I need everybody to just breathe. I launched on Monday, and we are at Wednesday, and everything has been about me. And I did a longer than normal speech because I knew what all was about to come my way. They were trying to do things to try to keep me out of the race, right? So Governor Abbott was tweeting and saying, if she gets in, she's crazy, and that's good. That's what we want, blah, 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 blah. There were leftists tweeting and was like, well, no, we can't have her in the race because we all know what happens to Kamala. Like, everybody was like, literally like, don't run, don't run, don't run. And then you're like, oh, it's because people called her phone that she decided to run, when I laid out very clearly for people that not only would I not just rely on third-party polls, but that I would actually get my own polling. And I looked at the trends. Now, unless they are paying my pollster, and if they are, I need to know about it. But I have known him for years. And so I know that they're not paying my own pollster. And we were looking at trends. And so there's different things that we look for as it relates to determining whether or not I would get in. And frankly, the most important thing that I wanted to see was my ability to expand the electorate. And that had nothing to do with phone calls. Like, if somebody calls my office, God bless you, I appreciate you. But I didn't get those calls at all. And that was never anything that I even tried to say was a part of my calculus. And if it's true that the Republicans want to see me in November, it would have made sense to release this information after I cleared the primary, not the day after I enter the primary, if it's me that you really want to see in November.
Right. And not only that, just again, we saw what happened in Texas. So we knew the Republicans were going to do a racist gerrymander. We also knew this right-wing Supreme Court was going to back them up. So it's not like you didn't have a lot of time to study this. And I would also, and I'll ask you, I would think, this is just me, but I would think that if you were thinking about running for the United States Senate, you'd have looked at the 2024 results when former then Congressman Colin Allred lost by 960,000 votes to Ted Cruz. You would have looked at the 2018 race when Beto O'Rourke lost by 215,000 votes to Ted Cruz. You would have looked at the 2020 race when John Cornyn won by 1.07 million. I would think that you would have also looked at, the fact that African Americans have the largest group of, Texas is the largest group of black voters in the state in the country. You probably also looked at how Trump's support among Latinos has cratered. Some tells me you probably looked at all of that and all of the data before deciding to run.
Again, like I've told people, we evaluated trends. So, for instance, as you talk about these previous elections, Beto O'Rourke was getting approximately 65% of the Latino vote. Beto O'Rourke was hitting maybe right there at 90% of African-American votes. And so all of this stuff about, it's got to be a moderate, it's got to be somebody that sounds like a Republican. The person that actually came the closest in the state of Texas, not a moderate. He is a progressive, like Beto is a progressive. So like we can get that out of our head. And what you do when you do stuff like that is you turn off the base. What we saw was Beto turn the base on, okay? So my deal is in a state where 61% of the population is people of color, I think that there needs to be candidates. I don't think one candidate should do it. And that's why I also was working to make sure that we could hopefully maximize who all potentially was going to be on this ticket. Let me tell you something. For the first time since the 90s, every single state House seat is being challenged. Every state Senate seat is being challenged. Every single U.S. House seat is being challenged for the first time since the 90s. When you're talking about the margins, like what happened with Beto O'Rourke, that in and of itself may make the difference. But also looking at the trends, whether it was other people's polls, which Data for Social Good has a public poll that is out there. The people that ran it are definitely not in our SCC. Also, the people at Texas Southern, not in our SCC. They've got a poll. The people at University of Texas, not in our SCC. They've got their own poll as well. And when you look at it, I perform the best with African Americans and Latinos. So with that being said, as well as people that don't have 4-year degrees, these are people that Democrats have been losing. We've been losing Latinos, we've been losing Black folk, and we've absolutely been losing those folk that don't have, degrees. I'm performing best with them of our choices. Will it be good enough? Well, that's actually going to be on the people of Texas, and it's going to be on whether or not they actually show up. And so all of this stuff about you got to do crossover and whatever. Okay, I think anybody that is fed up with their current situation because of Trump's policies will maybe want to do something different. We just saw it in Miami where they flipped a seat that had been Republican for 30 years. So don't tell us what we can't do. People need to just say, we are going to do this because it is life or death, and stop allowing the negativity to seep in. That's what got us where we are now.
When we talk about Texas, so let's talk about this here. When we look at the state, Texas is 61% minority. I think when people talk about Texas, they say, oh my God, a Democrat has not won a statewide race in Texas since 1994. And that year was four Democrats who won that year. And oh my God, it's red, red, red. You made the point that Texas is not a red state. It's an unorganized state. 61% of Texas is minority. Yet 61% of the people who vote in Texas are white. You've got 2 million plus eligible but unregistered Latinos in Texas. You've got 254 counties. Democrats, maybe it's more, but county offices only about 80 or 81. So when you start looking at when Beto ran against Greg Abbott for governor, 75% of voters 30 and under didn't vote. So when you look at that, is that because, frankly, the money has not been invested to actually do to Texas what happened in Georgia? And what do you hope to do? Granted, the primary is in 3 months. If you win the primary, you got the general in November. How do you put that coalition together and turn those people out?
Yeah, I think these are all great points. And as you can imagine, I do well with young people. I don't think that that's in our SEC. Again, this is just kind of real life. So I think there's a couple of things. So as I was also doing analysis, I was also even recruiting further down ballot people to run so that we could hopefully run up the numbers in these counties. Because even if somebody's like, oh, I don't think such and such can win, it's my friend though. And so they'll show up and they'll vote for their friend. And this is what you've got to do when you're trying to get past the margins. But also taking a candidate who already had high name ID. We've never had a candidate, at least that I'm aware of in recent times, that entered the race that had as high a name ID as I have. What that means is that we have been spending a lot of money just to get people to learn somebody's name and then learn about them and decide whether or not they like them. The reality is that people know my name and they know what I'm about. So we don't have to spend our money that way. We can go ahead and actually start getting to the people and saying, yo, it's go time. Are you in? In addition to the fact that I have worked across this entire country on behalf of other candidates because I believe in the team. I believe in democracy. And so I was making phone calls to other states like, yo, I have shown up for y'all. I don't know how many times. I done the Democratic dinners. I done the NAACP dinners. I done all the things. So we're going to need some phone banks. We're going to need, at a very minimum, us to get help. And there's nobody else that can get outside help like that. And it is an advantage that our primary is so early because, you know, people have been saying, what can I do in this moment? How can I help? Because people are feeling anxious, right? Well, now we've got the major special elections that are over. And the next primaries are going to be Texas and Arkansas, that first Tuesday in March. And so here it is. We've got vote by mail applications that can be requested right there on January 1. People will start getting their ballots in January so that they can vote. And then early voting starts in the middle of February. So it's go time right now. And so I'm looking forward. If you are interested in joining the team, go to jasmineforus.com, sign up to be a volunteer, because I do believe in the power of the people and taking all of this harnessed energy and using it to make sure that people understand it's bigger than Texas. This is about our democracy. This is about this rogue Supreme Court in which the Senate is the only body that actually has oversight over the Supreme Court. And so I think we've got to change the map. And I don't think that we can just settle for, well, we may get control of the House and we may be able to highlight what all is going wrong, or we may be able to file bills and those bills then don't make it out the Senate because we still don't have the votes. We got to change the map. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make sure that we can level up not only for Texas, but honestly for the entire country.
So you talked about high name ID, but you also have high negatives. Listen, Donald Trump has been attacking you viciously. Republicans have been doing the same thing. They can't stand your questioning in the hearings. I even saw this post where a little member of the Help, a little MAGA, little mascot, C.J. Pearson, talking about, oh, let's keep this ghetto ratchet. You know, they love using those phrases, trashing you as well. So you're doing high negatives. You got some of these people say, oh, no, we've got to have a candidate who's going to appeal to Republican voters. So going in, having high name ID, but having high negatives, how then do you counter that? Is your focus saying, listen, at the end of the day, I got to get the low-hanging fruit, the low-propensity voters, the folks who, frankly, are not turning out, who've been sitting elections out?
That is my goal. I think that I've uniquely been able to connect with people that haven't paid attention to politics, people that have frankly given up because they don't feel like people are authentic or care about what it is that they're going through. So that absolutely is our goal. I must also say that with high name ID, no matter who you are, is going to come high negative. Cause people either like you or they don't. It's not, everybody not gonna like everybody, right? But when you do my favorabilities, they actually are higher than the two leading Republican candidates. And they've been elected statewide in the state of Texas, one of them for close to 30 years and one of them close to 20 years. So, I mean, what does that mean, right? Like, people are like, I don't like this motherfucker, but this is the person that's on my ticket, right? So, I don't think that that is an end all be all. That is for sure. I think that at the end of the day, what we're seeing is that the environment is not a good landscape for the Republicans. And right now, people want somebody that's going to fight for them. And so whether it's that farmer or rancher that I've had an opportunity to meet, or even do some things on the farm because I've done those things because I served on the ag committee, or whether it's that person that is pregnant and is about to deliver a child and now doesn't have the Medicaid that she needs. As we know, somewhere around 40% of new births in this country are Medicaid births. I mean, or it's that person that lost their job or can't afford to send their child to school because of where the Department of Education is. I mean, everything is breaking around us. Or it's that person that has been working multiple jobs because we have failed to raise the minimum wage while we continue to go out and help those corporate billionaires just put more and more money in their pockets to the extent that Elon Musk is about to become a trillionaire. I mean, at some point in time, people get fed up. And I think that's what we're seeing. And I think that they want somebody that they feel like is not lip service and isn't just somebody here to be a puppet, but somebody that may say the off the cuff things, which we had to test for that as well, just so they know. You know what? The authenticity, regardless of how raw it is, seemed to do me just fine.
Well, and then when you talk about, obviously, when what's happening in the state, I mean, look what happened last night in Florida. I mean, Republicans have controlled the mayor's office in Miami. A Democrat won last night, first time in 30 years. And so we see what is going on all across the country. Real quick.
Oh, and Roland, she didn't just win.
Oh, no, she beat that ass. Matter of fact, last night I was in a chat group. And they were, I had posted it, and somebody said, they said, she won. I said, no. This is, hold on one second. Let me go ahead and show it for the folk here.
I think she got maybe 59.
She got 60.8%. She trounced, him. So this was a runoff. It wasn't even close. Y'all, this is what the numbers look like right here. Eileen Higgins got 60.8%. Emilio Gonzalez, 39.2%. Questions from the panel very quick. Rebecca, go.
Congresswoman, a little civics 101. There are a lot of people who don't understand how important primaries could be. So can you talk about how a primary could be important for a candidate to test their organization strength and prepare them for the general election?
Oh, yeah. So one of the things that I told people, even though I'm sitting here, because there's no way that I could not be on an interview with my constituents, as I'm also in D.C. because I had to return to D.C. for work. I told my team, I was like, it's go time. Like, it's GOTV time. We already there. We are already there. This election, I think, is 83 days away at this point. So, we got a lot of work to do, and it's a big state. But we are starting the general election. And so it is important. So that's the phase that we're in. I'm not going to go into all the details about what it is that we're doing and how late I'm staying up at night and all the things that I'm doing late at night, because I am burning both ends of the candle. But I will tell you that it will demonstrate how excited our base is. And one of the questions that I asked one of my classmates who's from Florida about the election yesterday, I said, man, I was like, that's what I need. I needed that rolling into the primary. I'm like, yes, I need the people like, we got this. Like, I need them to feel it. And ultimately, he told me that that there was like this very low voter turnout for the Republicans. And I think that that's another place that we actually may excel. So if we can run up the numbers on our side, and if Republicans either just decide to vote for something better, or if they just decide, never mind, I'm not going to vote because I just can't bring myself to vote for either side. Either way, that works out for us. And we've got to start, especially when there's 19 million registered people. We're talking about a race that will be over in 11 months. So that's a lot of people a month, right? Like that's close to 200,000 people a month that you really need to be trying to meet.
Joe.
Congresswoman, honored to be able to be on with you and say directly to you, you are a real one. It's great to be on with somebody that Donald Trump is scared of. Here's my question. Are there any campaigns out here over the last several years that you might draw influence from? I know your goal is to expand the base, maybe on some level, build on the things that Beto did right, et cetera. Are there any ones that you've seen nationwide that say, I think I might take a little bit of this, I think I might take a little bit of this? Because those are the types of things that we're doing. I mean, I know nothing as big as Texas, and it's different. But are you drawing influence from any campaigns you've seen?
Yeah. So, great question. So these conversations have been so deep and layered, including conversations with Stacey Abrams. I mean, I don't know how you can consider even running for the Senate in Texas and not think about Stacey Abrams and think about John Ossoff and think about Reverend Warnock and think about kind of what that looked like. And so I will say that she is an invaluable source and resource as it relates to kind of being able to think about this a little differently. Now, Georgia has about 1/3 the population that we have. And when we start to talk about land mass, there is no comparison. But I do think that that is a good launching point. And a lot of things can translate over very well as Beto O'Rourke. Beto is a friend. I've been on the trail for Beto before. And so I think it's going to be integral because I think if there's any organization that's actually really been done in the state of Texas, it's actually been Beto's camp. We have a new party chair, but he literally just got there. So, this is going to be like all hands on deck trying to pull it together. And I also am going to be speaking a lot to Jamie Harrison. And Jamie Harrison is a unique person to talk to because besides being DNC chair, Jamie Harrison
former DNC chair
candidate, huh?
Former chair.
Yeah, former chair. But yeah, besides being a former DNC chair, he was a candidate for U.S. Senate. And so he hit some pretty historic numbers on his fundraising. And when you're looking at trying to fundraise in the state of Texas, it is approximately $100 million raise. So anyone who's been able to kind of be in this position where people really aren't believing or maybe not believing enough, but still is able to kind of fundraise and meet the moment, I think it's important that I talk to him. And then obviously I've had a number of conversations with Colin Allred, but he is the person that ran this race most recently. And so talking to him, number one, he also was able to hit that $100 million mark. So again, if you've not donated, please go to jasmineforus.com. But he's been able to hit that $100 million mark. And so, kind of listening to him about what it is that he thinks he did right, what it is that he thinks may have been some of his challenges. But no, we're not leaving it just to kind of our own. We are having lots of conversations. And I must say, I am really excited about this particular race in this moment because some of the best political minds coming from all spaces are like, whatever you need, we got you. And I just think that that's a lot of that goodwill that's coming back from having worked on the presidential campaign, both for President Biden as well as Vice President Harris.
Kelly.
Sure. First and foremost, I absolutely agree, Crockett. And I've been following your career for a while. I've been in the same rooms as you, panels and things, but I digress. I just wanted to say it's an honor to be in your presence once again. I just wanted to point out that people are forgetting that you are a public defender and you understand the law, you understand the stakes, and you understand exactly who has been harmed by this administration and beyond. But I also want to point out that, or at least can you talk about how your campaign isn't just anti-Trump, how it is bigger than this administration and how it is really recalibrating what needs to happen in this country for us to progress and move forward. Because personally, my concern about any campaign that the Dems are going to be running this term are the purists Democrats, so to speak, somewhat single issue voters on those topics that don't need to be named on this show, but I'm sure you know what they are, that have impeded progress in this party simply because of disagreements and splitting hairs and frankly ignoring nuance for the sake of being a purist in your ideology. Can you expound upon that?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things about that. Number one, I think that it is important to have unity. One of the considerations that I thought about, because people were starting because they were scared, because the poll numbers for this primary are quite stunning. So people were really scared about me entering this race. And so they really started with some very negative, and they started some disinformation and just flat out just started lying, to be perfectly honest. I fully anticipated that I would be attacked from the left and the right. And at the end of the day, I just want to serve. I want people to know, in case you don't know, there is no additional pay. I could have went back to the house, got the exact same check, and had 766,000 constituents versus 30 million. And my deal is, if these weren't issues in all this time, then you should probably be thinking twice. If you're seeing a clip of something, you probably should go out, maybe do a little research, and maybe see if you can find the entirety of the clip, because maybe it's something they don't want you to see. If you have questions about my record, I've always been willing to answer for my record. I don't anticipate that everyone will ever agree with everything that I vote for or against. And at the end of the day, I remember being on the campaign trail for Harris, and I would go into Black church and I would ask people to raise their hands if they were married. And then I'd ask them if they love their spouses. The answers would get a little funny. But I then would ask them, do you agree with your spouse on everything? And everybody would be like, no. And I'd be like, okay, so here's the reality. I'm giving you permission to disagree. In fact, that is part of what makes the fabric of this country, is the idea that we can disagree. But the idea that you are seeking perfection or your perfect candidate, I will tell you that we will continue to lose elections as Democrats if you are seeking perfection, because there is no perfection. And I will tell you that the Republicans have figured out how to gaslight us, and have figured out that they can divide us by setting, for some, an impossible standard. And at the same time, they will accept all faults of their candidate so long as it's on their side. So a good example of this and how they throw bombs is them going on about how Joe Biden was old and how he ain't know what he was doing and he's senile and all this other kind of stuff, right? They threw that out there. Democrats then ran with it. It was like, oh, we got to get him out. He old. And what the Republicans do? Nominate an old, senile, dementia-ridden man. So I'm like, if it's good enough for them, why couldn't we have nice things, right? So I just want people to recognize when they're being distracted. If somebody is not talking about what matters most in this election, which is affordability, and how they are going to make it possible for you to build generational wealth, because they are going to make it possible to actually get policies passed so that you can actually buy a home and pass something down. If they're not going to make it possible for you to be able to send your kid to school without taking 50 million loans out, if they're not going to talk about how it is that you're going to go from being paycheck to paycheck, if they're not going to talk about how it is that you won't have to incur medical debt or that you will even have health insurance, then just understand that they don't want to talk about what matters most right now. They want you to be distracted. They want to divide us because that is what has worked. And I want to say this final point, and that is that the bots are out here and they are real. I'm sure y'all talked about it before, where when the new feature went live on X, it showed how all of these big influencer accounts are foreign actors. I have traveled the world and talked to allies about how they meddle in our elections, and they do it for pennies on the dollar. It's a lot of people getting riled up by bots and don't even know it. So I'm just saying, we lost because we decided to lose focus of what mattered. we can do that again, or we can go back to that 2008 moment that I was trying to remind people of, when a young black 44-year-old senator from the state of Illinois had to tell people and reaffirm over and over, yes, we can, because clearly many people told him with the name Barack Hussein Obama, no, you can't. But he did. It's going to take all of us. So, you got to decide, pick your battles, and recognize that there's not going to be any perfection. But also recognize that I have a record. You can look up anything you want to look up and find out where people are confusing you.
All right. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, I'm sure we'll be chatting with you a few more times between now and the first Tuesday in March. But we appreciate it. Thanks a lot. All right, folks. Let me thank my panel. Let me thank Kelly, Joe, as well as Rebecca for being on today's show. I certainly appreciate it. Thanks a lot. All right, folks. Going to go to a quick break. We come back. Headlines with Brittany Noble. Right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
This week on The Other Side of Change.
Book bans, anti-intellectualism, and Trump's continued war on wisdom.
This is a coordinated backlash to progress. At the end of the day, conservatives realized that they couldn't win a debate on facts. They started using our language against us, right? Remember when we were all woke and the woke movement and all that kind of stuff? Now everything is anti-woke, right? When we were talking about including diversity, equity, inclusion, and higher education, now it's anti-DEI. All this are efforts to suppress the truth because truth empowers people.
You're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
Hey, I'm Tasha Cobbs, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. But I need a little filter. I need something. Blow me out. Make me look 35.
All right, folks, time for headlines with Black Star Network anchor Brittany Noble.
Well, Roland, we have new information tonight about the deadly shooting at Kentucky State University. Frankfort police have identified the suspect as 48-year-old Jacob Liebard, an Evansville native now in custody. He's being held in the Franklin County Regional Jail, facing charges of murder and first-degree assault. A 19-year-old died and another was critically wounded in Tuesday's shooting. Investigators are still trying to figure out a motive. Well, a federal judge in New York has ordered that secret grand jury records from the Justice Department's 2019 sex trafficking case against Jeffrey Epstein must be made public. U.S. District Judge Richard Berman granted the DOJ's request under the newly enacted Epstein Files Transparency Act, which Congress passed last month to ensure the release of all unclassified records related to Epstein. This decision follows similar rulings in New York and Florida that unsealed grand jury materials connected to Epstein and his longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. Judge Berman emphasized the importance of protecting the victim's privacy, directing that any identifying and sensitive information be redacted. According to the law and Judge Berman's order, the government has until December 19th to provide the records. However, there is still no clear timeline for when the public will actually be able to access the files once they are processed and released. Well, Florida A&M University is launching a new tool to boost fundraising, the FAMU Change app. It allows alumni, students, and parents to donate spare change from everyday purchases, with each $5 automatically supporting the university. The move comes as FAMU faces a drop in alumni giving, which fell below $20 million in this fiscal year after several years of steady growth. University leaders say the app is part of a broader effort to re-energize donations and strengthen FAMU's financial future. Well, history has been made in Latta, South Carolina. Longtime Councilman Marcus McGirt will serve as mayor after years of public service and community leadership. According to unofficial results from the Dillon County Election and Voter Registration Office, McGirt defeated newcomer Rick Watson, earning 197 votes to Watson's 137. McGirt called his win truly momentous. And Aja Wilson has been named the Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year. The honor comes from a panel of 47 sports journalists from the AP and its member news organizations. Wilson made history this season, becoming the first player in either the WNBA or NBA to win MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Finals MVP, and lead league in scoring, all in this year. She also is the second straight basketball player to earn the title following Caitlin Clark's win in 2024. We'll have more on Roland Martin Unfiltered after the break.
All right, Brittany, I sort of appreciate it. Thanks a lot, folks. That is it for us. It's a whole lot we had to break down and get to, and so we appreciate all of our guests and the panelists as well. If y'all want to support the work that we do, please join Bring the Funk Fan Club. Your dollars make it possible the work that we do. For Cash App, use the stripe QR code. You see it right here, bottom left-hand corner. That's also for credit card. Applications, credit cards as well. PayPal's R Martin Unfiltered, Venmo's RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Check your money order. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Be sure to get a copy of my book, White Fear, How the Brownie of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Mind. Available at bookstores nationwide. Also, if you want to get our Roland Martin Unfiltered Black Star Network swag, that's our hoodies, our crew necks, our T-shirts, mugs, hats, all that good stuff. Go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. Again, a lot of y'all have been stopping me saying, oh my God, I would love to get some stuff. Where can I get it? Well, everything is right there online on shopblackstarnetwork.com. Shopblackstarnetwork.com. And of course, all of these products you see right here, these are all black-owned products that we have on shopblackstarnetwork.com. Of course, we had the beautiful Curly Me dolls, had the owner on yesterday. And so, again, go to the website. And again, man, we got all kind of stuff, y'all. We got Christmas ornaments, we got dolls, we got steam dolls, we got candles that smell like food, we got relishes. I mean, we got all kinds of stuff. We got artwork and pillows, backpacks, crossword puzzles, you name it. All of this, shopblackstarnetwork.com. Check it out. Don't forget to also download the app Fanbase. And if you want to invest in Fanbase, folks, you only got 8 days left. 8 days left. $13.4 million has been raised. The target goal is $17 million. And so if you want to invest in Fanbase, get more information at startengine.com/Fanbase. So shout out to the guys at Eastside Golf. We had them on the show before, and so I was looking for something to wear today. And so I said, let's put on this comfy sweater. So shout out to those brothers as well. Folks, I'll see y'all tomorrow right here at Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Holla!